Oh, they're all dead. GG's. Oh, yeah. Clap. Bro, this is crazy. Bro. What is poppin', squad? It's your boy Jesimein, and today I'm about to drop one of my builds for you guys that I've been using in Title Update 5. This is my Meteor Strike PVE farming build. Bro, this build is actually extremely fun. I'm pretty sure a lot of you explosive fanatics are gonna like it. So without further ado, let's get into it. So obviously you guys know the BTSU gloves are like the it factor for skill builds. My main skill build that I'm gonna share later on, probably later on this upcoming week, is going to showcase him as well, but I'm going to show you guys why I specifically tailored this build the way I did. So first things first, obviously you're going to be running Demolitionist for that free 25% explosion damage. That's give or take, everybody knows that. You don't have to. The 25 is overkill. If you really enjoy the other specialists, then sure, but if you want to get the full power out of the build, you obviously want to run Demolitionist. I'm going to be using, on my guns, I'm going to be using Recharged for duration, charges, and ammo on the third. Rooted, and whatever you want on your pistol. Rooted's really good when you're going up against a boss. If you want to get that extra 25% damage, that's when you hop in cover and then you're able to throw your Seeker. So obviously it is a Seeker. It's a cluster Seeker build. You can use it with the other one, but I prefer that you use cluster, and for the reasons that I'm going to tell you. And you're going to use a blinder to proc your gloves. Now, for people who don't know how the gloves work, basically for every electronic you have, you see I have 15 on here. That's 10% skill damage, healing, repair, and duration for all of your skills. So in essence, since I have 15, I get 150% damage on top of my build just by procking the gloves. And the way to proc the glove is by applying a status effect, which is obviously what the blinder is for. And the cool thing about the gloves is they give you an additional 50% status effect duration and skill haste to skills that give status effects such as the blinder. So obviously you're gonna get this back super quick and be able to keep repopping it. And since you get it for a minute, pretty much you will always have the ability to reproc it and be good. So let's get into the build. I'm gonna be running an explosive damage mask, which is gonna be the China Light, and I have skill haste and skill power. You really want to spec into skill haste and skill power with this build because you're really not going to be using your guns. If anything, you're really not even have to fire a bullet. So if you run it the right way, you'll be straight. So I have destructive on it, obviously an additional 20%. So I pretty much get 30% plus the extra 20 from the two electronics. You got to remember. So since I have skill haste and skill power, those are both electronics, and those count as 10% damage per electronic. So obviously from this mask alone, I'm getting 50% damage towards my Seekers just from this mask. Going to my chest piece, you have to run ongoing to get the best benefits, because you can have 2 utilities plus 2 utility slots. You see I have skill power and explosive damage. I've heard you can get upwards to 25%, so obviously a god roll will be even better. And you can run utility slots. You can see I have explosive damage on my mods right there, 2.5 and another 3.5, which ultimately gives me 4 electronics, which is pretty much an additional 40% damage total. So off the chest piece I get 45%, whereas if I were to run a regular chest piece, I would just be able to get like maybe 2 electronics and a destructive. So I get an additional 10% just from running ongoing directive, and it also helps the duration of my blind and everything. And going down to the holster, same thing. I have skill haste and skill power, as well as 2 utility mods, which is a grand total of 4. So this is basically another additional 40% towards my build, which is really good, because obviously the more electronics I have, the more damage I'm going to do when my gloves are procced. And this is where you can pretty much change. I chose to go with a regular backpack instead of the ongoing, for a variety of reasons. One, because I get the 20% skill haste. Two, because obviously I get the talent, which means I can get the 20% explosive damage plus skilled. So skilled extremely good with this build because every cluster is a kill basically. So every skill kill has a 25% chance to reset skill cooldowns, and if you're lucky, man, you can get like 3 or 4 cluster bomb combinations over and over, so you can pretty much combo. Now skilled basically got buffed because of these gloves, because getting a kill with a skill is pretty much annoying while having to wait for the cooldown stuff, but because of the gloves, you're able to do some crazy things. So run skilled, I promise you, you're gonna find yourself having an outrageous amount of seekers to throw, especially because the cooldown's already 10 seconds. Sometimes it takes that 10 seconds away and you just keep rethrowing, you know what I'm saying, be able to wipe an entire room. And if you get really lucky, man, you probably could get to clear the whole room with no cooldown, so that's really good. I have skill power on here. Going down to my gloves, obviously all the gloves are the same. If you have the data gloves, you get 2 free utility slots and a defensive slot right there. You see I have explosive damage on there as well, and total armor. And going down to my knee pads, skill haste, this is where I would say go for skill haste, because you don't really need an outrageous amount of skill power. Just have enough skill power to unlock your mods, and then kind of spec from there. But the more better skill haste you have, the faster you get your clusters back when skill doesn't proc anyways, which I mean is not that often either way, and you'll be straight to go. So run destructive on here. You see I have 3 destructive, so a grand total of, let's see, so I get 50 from here, another 40 from here, so that's 90%, another 40 from here, so 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, so about 210% damage overall towards my seekers. And you can see my base is at 453, but the thing is remember, you got to add that extra 150% on top of this damage, whereas if you're running just like a regular destructive build, you're only going to get the damage you see right here. Well, with the gloves, I get more than double this, so I'm pretty much hitting a million a cluster, or close, maybe like 890, around 900k a cluster. And that's nuts, because that's more than enough to wipe regular NPCs anyways, which is ridiculous, especially when you are able to proc skilled and get it over again. So going into my stats, you can see right here I have all of this coming down. Let's go here to my skill haste. So I have 87% skill haste on this build. You see that's really good. That's more than you need, especially since clusters are a faster cooldown than the regular seeker. It really doesn't matter. But the mods I have, and I have trash mods, so mind you, I have ridiculously weak mods. So I have like a 67 right here and a 92. Some people have like 90s and 90s, so like there's a lot of effort that you could probably get if you go and grind out crazy mods, and probably make this build way better than what it is. You see I have a 179% skill haste, so I get it back in 10.8 seconds. And for the people who, like, let's say like, well, I like my one hitter quitter seeker, you can do this, but you can see the cooldown change is the extra 6 seconds. So yes, I'm pretty much almost hitting like probably like 2 point something mil, but it doesn't matter, because I rather shoot out 4 mines that do almost a mil a piece and wipe a room. So, and plus skilled, you would have to wait for 1 ball and hope that that's a 25%, where basically I have 4 chance at 25%, which is pretty often, believe it or not. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is the build, you guys. If you want to spec into it, I would say the most viable pieces are going to be an ongoing chest piece, ongoing holster, and the data gloves, and you can kind of mix and match depending on however you want to run the other 3. This is the best way I've seen so far, especially if you can get a chest piece that has like 25% explosion damage, bro. That's like basically having destructive on top of a build I have right now, which is pretty much insane, because you can't get destructive on your gloves, and you can't get, and I pretty much have the best holster I can run with this anyway. So that would pretty much god roll this out. And if I was somehow able to get two electronics on Alps with this roll, I don't even think I can get that though. But yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. Hope you guys enjoy, man. If you guys want to see more builds like this for PVE situations, you can use this in PvP. I would assume so. I wouldn't. This is just for, like, let's say you don't want to just go around and do the same old farming. You just want to wipe a room and speed run with your friends. This is pretty much the build to do it. It's going to make your farming experience much more easier. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys drop a like. Let me know what y'all think about these data gloves, man. There's so many different combinations you can run with this, and I'm excited to share them with you guys, especially when I share my main build that I'm pretty much holding off until I get the last piece. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Stay tuned for more builds coming soon. I love y'all. You guys have been real. Drop that like. Hit the link in the description for our sponsor, ViewSonic Elite. I'm gonna be making the announcement video tomorrow with probably my main skill build for people who've been waiting. So I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Let me know what y'all think below. It's been real. Your boy is out.